On December 26, 2004, an unprecedented turn of events struck the region I call home, leaving an unimaginable number of people homeless.
You go there, you're just completely humbled by what you see, and you ask yourself, what can you do about this?
Months after one of the worst natural disasters in recent history, the death toll in the wake of the tsunami on December 26th has now surpassed 226,000. Measuring 9.0 on the Richter scale, the massive earthquake off the coast of Sumatra was one of the most powerful in 40 years. Thousands are still missing and millions are homeless in 11 countries stretching from Indonesia to Somalia. While these colossal events bring sorrow to families, villages, cities, even entire nations, they also teach painful lessons about who we are as human beings and serve as a timeless reminder of what is most important to each and every one of us. There is no power greater than unity, no resource more precious than compassion, no act more important than the restoration of hope.
Aceh tragically had two batterings on December 26th. First, there was an earthquake, a 9.0 on the Richter scale, and lots of buildings crumbled to the ground as a result of the earthquake. Then, about 20 minutes later, the wave came.
Going that way,
it's hard to imagine that a wave could have come anywhere between 5 and 20 kilometers inland along that western coast of Aceh. Standing in the worst hit areas is like, or must have been like, to stand in Hiroshima the day of the bomb. I mean, nothing is standing in the hardest hit areas.
You're driving down, you see cement stripped from the soil.
People's personal items are strewn about everywhere. Shoes, books, clothing.
And you see like water remnants.
The school we visited was about 4 kilometers from the seashore, and the water line from the wave is still visible on the school buildings. We visited the mosque at Lampu. There was this very eerie sight of smoke billowing around the mosque, and at first I thought they were burning garbage, but then we realized someone was actually fumigating the whole environment for the camp. Concern about disease spreading in some of these camps.
Seeing all that devastation, but then turn around and see people come together in a way that I never seen before.
The Force of Nature delegation visited a camp of internally displaced persons run by an organization called Mercy Malaysia. It's clean, there's bathing facilities and clean water. Rotary International is helping to provide tents and cooking equipment, and the World Food Program is helping to distribute biscuits and rice and noodles and cooking oil and canned fish.
Kids lost their parents. Parents lost their children, but they were. I didn't feel like they had pity for me, or I didn't feel the type of mourning that I thought I was going to feel. There was so much love there.
Those who lost their homes in the tsunami are living in a range of conditions. Some under the most simple and harsh of conditions, under plastic sheeting with very, very little else to support them. Some are living in actual camps that are being run by international NGOs, and those conditions are somewhat better. Some have moved into barracks, as they are unfortunately called, temporary living centers.
They set up temporary housing for them. They were essentially rejected. For what reason, I'm not really sure, but there were significant numbers of this happening. So what they had just decided to do was start looking into technology for prefab housing.
Are you open for new ways of developing homes and schools?
We also open for transportology. So like Australian or Europe or American build body house, not like our house. We open mind to transportology.
We've been working on a technology involving plastics that allows housing to be made out of panels very quickly, very efficiently, and integrated so that you have a house in a kit. One of the many advantages of the design of the house is that it can be assembled with few tools very quickly by people with low technical training like me, so that people can build their own houses with easy-to-use materials.
We need many houses. We cannot prepare all houses with traditional method. So this pleasure is some governments give a house like that.
The needs for Aceh are limitless. Just think about the scope. 500,000 people have lost their homes. 250,000 people are dead. Schools are destroyed. Hospitals are destroyed. Clinics are destroyed. People's lives are destroyed. One of the biggest challenges for the people of Aceh is to literally, physically rebuild their homes and their lives. And already some people are starting to do that individually with their own resources, borrowing money, starting to rebuild. They're planting signs to claim their land and to make sure that when they're ready and have the money to do so, that their land will be ready for them.
They have 100,000 homes to meet. You know, you have to build 100,000 homes. And the construction company that I brought out there, Octagon, you know, their way of building homes at a rapid pace like that, real sufficient homes that are sturdy and strong, and they're not temporary. They could be there for a really long time.
You don't need concrete, and you don't need wood, and you don't need steel.
What are the frames of the houses?
It's a composite panel, impervious to rot, impervious to rust, impervious to mold.
Can it deal with a lot of rain?
Absolutely, it's waterproof.
The cool thing about the panel is that it's got electrical in there, it's got plumbing in there already. You don't have to call any contractors out to plumb the thing or put electricity in the thing at all. You just basically put the panels together.
It's all bolts together. It's a, you know, it's like the IKEA house. You know, you get a little instruction thing, and two people can put together a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house.
Every opportunity to be taken to try to upgrade their lives. If you could build houses that upgrade them.
I'm assuming most of the structures, you know, built here too are mostly built out of concrete, and concrete's actually not a very good material for earthquakes. These homes are very good for earthquake. We have very little mass. They don't weigh very much, and they're very, very strong. So the lateral loads that they can take are just immense.
The basic would be about $5,000 for a basic model.
Very basic.
Very, very basic model. Up to probably, you know, $50,000 depending if you want solar panels. Let's say it's a remote area that doesn't have electricity or sewage. We've got models that actually have those in there.
Can you get you pay them to build the houses?
Oh, absolutely. What we're interested in is actually going to the region like here and setting up factories, because it's very important.
It's sort of middle tech. It's technologically very advanced, but it's the kind of thing that most people can do, so it creates jobs and tax revenue in the places where the structures are made.
I'm hopeful that with such unified international support, with the commitment of the government of Indonesia, of all the affected governments, that we will see not only the people of Aceh and Sri Lanka and Thailand and India rebuilding, but they'll be able to build better lives. They'll have better futures than they might have had before the tsunami. It's our obligation to make it so.